The movie opens by dropping us right into the criminal underworld. This man was Joseph, a feared crime boss, as he heard bad news from one of his trusted men. A shipment of illegal weapons was late. The subordinate, clearly nervous, promised to fix the problem. The boss himself stayed calm and even offered him coffee before sending him back to work. But as the man left, Joseph suddenly shot him. This moment showed just how cold and ruthless Joseph really was. Somewhere else in a different part of Miami, a man named Jack, known to everyone as Cash, a former special agent widower who was utterly devoted to his two young daughters, was living his retired days. That morning, his kids challenged him, giving him 30 minutes to serve them a meal before their grandmother arrived to pick them up. Cash accepted the culinary race against the clock. He came through in the clutch, managing to serve up the food well before the deadline, much to the delight of his beloved daughters. Shortly after, the grandmother arrived to take them to a summer camp. Cash gave them a warm but cautionary farewell, telling them to stay safe and look out for one another. Later that day, Cash traded his apron for boxing gloves at the gym. He faced a formidable opponent and struggled at first, but he used his military and FBI experience to turn things around and win the match.
On your toes, Cash. Keep your punch trying to make it all the way. Down he goes. Look at that. That wasn't so hard. Beautiful, right?
After the match, Cash noticed his old friend Rocco, an FBI agent, watching him and immediately asked why he was there. Rocco said that the FBI missed him and wanted him back. It was revealed that Cash had left the bureau a year ago after his wife died, choosing to focus on his daughters. Rocco explained the director wanted him to return, but Cash refused outright as he didn't want to leave his daughters anymore. That afternoon, Cash called the FBI director to turn down the job offer, explaining that his daughters were his top priority. The director tried to convince him by offering top-notch caregivers to take care of his daughters, showing how badly the FBI needed him. Still, Cash stood firm and refused. The next day, the scene shifts back to the criminal world, introducing Nacho, the notorious right-hand man of the mafia boss Joseph. He had been given a chilling assignment to assassinate an FBI agent who was currently vacationing on a cruise ship. He immediately located the target cruise ship and opened fire, plunging the vessel into total chaos. In the midst of the ensuing mayhem, the FBI agent targeted by Nacho, Yvonne, urgently instructed her niece to swim for the safety of the shore and make her way to their cabin. Once there, the young woman was to grab a critical file and immediately call someone named Cash. The niece, realizing how serious things were, jumped into the water as Nacho put bullets in everyone on board. Soon, he finally found Yvonne and finished her, ensuring no one was left alive to bear witness to the hit. After taking the agent's life, Nacho realized to his surprise that one person had managed to escape and reach land, and it was Yvonne's niece. Unaware that the niece had a mission, Nacho viewed her as a loose end. Moments later, the niece scrambled ashore and quickly got into a car to race to her aunt's cabin, the critical file still waiting for her. The film returns to the calm morning in Cash's world. He was enjoying breakfast with his two daughters, who were excited about spending the night at their grandmother's house later that day, seeing as school was officially on holiday. Cash gave them his blessing, but only if they promised to behave and not drive their grandmother up the wall. As they finished eating, they exchanged goodbyes. Moments later, their grandmother arrived and collected the two delighted girls. Meanwhile, Yvonne's niece, a young woman named Jamie, was on edge as she stopped at a gas station. The owner noticed she was nervous and asked if she was okay, but Jamie just nodded and paid her stuff with her credit card. One big mistake for someone on the run. Joseph's assistant immediately tracked the payment and quickly sent Nacho to find her. Nacho and another man soon arrived at the gas station. Knowing the owner was anxious, Nacho said he just wanted to see the security footage, not rob the place. The owner, scared, showed them the footage, showing Jamie in her car. Nacho finally got the license plate and immediately called his partner for a trace. As the owner tried to leave, Nacho's partner suddenly shot him dead. The film cuts to Jamie arriving at Yvonne's secluded cabin. Once inside, the young woman scrambled to recall her aunt's frantic instructions to locate the critical file and call a man named Cash. After what felt like an age, Jamie finally found what she was looking for, a file containing a crucial flash drive and a cell phone. She immediately scrolled through the contacts, found Cash's name, and dialed the number. When Cash answered, she wasted no time delivering the gravity of the situation. She identified herself as Yvonne's niece and revealed the news. Her aunt was murdered aboard the cruise ship. She explained that before the attack, her aunt told her to retrieve the files and contact him. Cash was absolutely blindsided by the revelation that Yvonne was gone. He quickly realized that his friend used her last moments to throw him a hot mess, essentially tasking him with exposing the killer's crimes and protecting Jamie. Cash delivered clear instructions for Jamie to lie low so as not to attract the criminals and hide while he rushed for the cabin. It was revealed that the bond between Cash and Yvonne ran deep. A year prior, Yvonne had been a big help to Cash in tracking down and eliminating the people who had murdered his wife. Cash was now in her debt, and he was dead set on repaying it. That evening, Nacho and another armed man arrived at the cabin. Nacho told his partner to watch outside while he searched for Jamie. At the same time, Cash arrived and tried to sneak in, but was soon ambushed by Nacho's partner. Fortunately, thanks to his training as a former agent, Cash quickly defeated the attacker. Inside, Nacho went to search for Jamie. Suddenly, Jamie, who had found a makeshift weapon, struck him, knocking the attacker unconscious. Cash rushed in just as the action subsided, introducing himself as the man Jamie had called. With the coast momentarily clear and the hitmen neutralized, they made a swift decision to abandon the compromised location and speed away in Cash's car. As they drove away, Jamie thanked Cash, saying he had saved her life. She asked who the attackers were and why her aunt was killed. Cash says the answers are probably in the files Jamie brought. The next morning, Cash stopped by his in-laws' house to pick up his daughters. His mother-in-law wondered why he was there so early, so Cash made up a story about taking the girls on a surprise trip to avoid her being so worried. Meanwhile, Nacho, beaten and bruised, returned to Joseph, who immediately asked if Jamie was dead. Nacho admitted that she escaped with Cash's help. Joseph, seemingly calm, gave Nacho a drink. Then suddenly, he hit him with the bottle, knocking him out.
Next time I shatter your skull.
On the other hand, Cash had successfully retrieved his two daughters. He then revealed that there was no vacation. Instead, he was driving them to a secluded house to ensure their safety, where they would stay under Jamie's protection. His daughters, sensing something bad was about to happen to their father, asked the question of whether he had returned to his old job as an agent. Cash kept his answer vague, saying there was business to finish. After a long drive, they arrived at the remote safe house, far from the prying eyes of the city. While settling in, Cash handed Jamie a gun, strictly for defense. He then explained his true motivation to Jamie. Yvonne had been there for him during the darkest time of his life, helping him get revenge for his wife's murder, and he was determined to pay his dues by slaughtering the people responsible for her death. On the other hand, Joseph reached out to his business partner, a crime lord named Javier, who controlled the entire drug dealings in Miami. Joseph informed him that the long-awaited weapons shipment would be delivered late that very night. Javier, sounding agitated, gave his warning, mentioning that their top boss, a mysterious figure known only as Mr. X, was mad because the shipment was supposed to have been made a day earlier. It was then revealed that neither Joseph nor Javier was at the top of the organization. Back at his house, Cash looked through the evidence Jamie brought. He found out that Yvonne was investigating a massive arms smuggling ring run by Joseph and Javier. Her main goal was to uncover the real mastermind, known only as Mr. X. As Cash absorbed this stunning information, his radar went off the charts. 2 intruders had breached his home. He immediately went into his old FBI agent mode, meeting the invaders head-on. He quickly took down one of the men, but was then forced into a brutal confrontation with Nacho, the same henchman Jamie had temporarily subdued. Cash's expertise showed how easy it was for him to defeat the thug. He cornered Nacho and threw him into the water. Cash knew he needed answers, so he held Nacho's head under, resorting to water torture. Nacho initially refused to crack, but given his situation, he finally told him everything, revealing his boss's name as Joseph and giving up the location of the headquarters on the outskirts of the city. Upon receiving that information, Cash grabbed Nacho's phone and called Joseph directly, making his intentions crystal clear. He was set to find the man, and it was only a matter of time. Long story short, Cash finally arrived at Joseph's remote headquarters, making his way to infiltrate the building secretly. He observed men inside preparing the final shipment of weapons. Then he slipped into the control room, where he was able to corner one of the thugs. He demanded Joseph's location, and the terrified man immediately gave up the information. Knowing Joseph was headed to Miami, Cash checked the computers for info on Javier. He figured the delivery would happen at Javier's place. Suddenly, an enemy sneaked up and put a gun to Cash's head, but Cash quickly disarmed him and took out a few more guards before racing off in his car.
Someone broke in.
Right after that, the FBI director called Cash again, asking him to return and help with the illegal weapons cases. Cash politely but firmly said no. Long story short, Cash arrived at the secluded airplane hangar and was greeted by an old man who owned the facility. Cash stated he had urgent business in Miami and needed to fly immediately. The owner didn't ask questions, but replied that he could do that depending on how much cash he could pay. After Cash paid, the owner let him board the plane.
I have some business to attend to. It's been a while. Not sure I'd be much good.
Mid-flight, the old pilot told Cash to get some sleep as it was a long way to their destination, promising to wake him when they hit Miami. However, the pilot had other ideas. His true intention was revealed that he was about to kill the agent. Thankfully, Cash's instincts were still razor sharp, and he awoke instantly, managing to fend off the sudden attack. He pinned the pilot down, demanding to know who had paid him to double-cross him, and the man confessed that it was Joseph. The pilot violently fought back, leaving Cash with no choice but to use lethal force to neutralize the threat. The former FBI agent was forced to take the controls and pilot the plane solo for the rest of the trip. On the other hand, at the safe house, Cash's daughters played cards and asked Jamie when they could go home. Jamie reassured them they would leave once their father finished his mission, then told them it was time for bed.
We're gonna go to bed. Come on. Thank you very much. Okay.
After the girls fell asleep, Jamie sensed something was wrong and grabbed the weapon Cash gave her. But before she could react, Joseph's men overpowered and cornered her. Returns to Cash, who managed to land in Miami, he went to Javier's nightclub to find Joseph. Upon arrival, he was grabbed by Javier's men and brought to the crime boss, who asked why he was there. Cash said he was after Joseph. Javier said Joseph was there but was gone. He then warned Cash to back off or face Mr. X, the real boss. Cash asked who Mr. X was, and Javier explained that the person was the top mafia boss protecting both him and Joseph. As the conversation went by, a man burst in, shooting Javier's men, and pointed a gun at Javier. The man then said that he was there to deal with some loose ends. He then kills Javier. The assassin turned out to be a former FBI agent. The assassin told Cash to step outside the nightclub so the two could talk privately. However, before they could exchange another word, the man was shot from behind by one of Javier's surviving men. Cash, wasting no time, reacted instantly, quickly taking out every last one of Javier's remaining goons. Unfortunately, the assassin was already dead from the gunshot wound. Cash rushes to his car, but his phone buzzes with a video from Joseph. Joseph has captured Jamie and Cash's daughters and tells Cash to come to his headquarters if he wants them to live. Following the threat, Cash finally made his way to the criminals' headquarters. Upon arrival, Joseph revealed that all his crime was taken under the direct orders of Mr. X, their true mastermind. He then made his pitch, explaining that Mr. X was impressed by Cash's skills and wanted to invite Cash to join their operation, promising that all his needs and family facilities would be taken care of. Cash, however, firmly shut down the offer, making it clear he hadn't come for a truce. Hearing the refusal, Joseph, clearly mad, shot Cash and poured a cup of hot coffee onto him as a blatant act of disrespect and annoyance.
Cash, take this.
But Cash was prepared. The bullet didn't hurt him because he was wearing a vest. He quickly pulled a hidden gun and held Joseph's assistant at gunpoint, demanding to know where Jamie and his daughters were. Before she could answer, Joseph's men attacked. In the chaos, the assistant was accidentally shot by her own side. The fight continued as Cash took on the rest of Joseph's men. After a tough battle, he defeated them all and found Jamie and his daughters safe. He told Jamie to get the girls out while he stayed to finish his mission. Cash soon found Joseph's assistant, who was still alive but badly hurt. She couldn't talk much but gave Cash her phone, which had information about Mr. X's identity and location. Following the clues, Cash found a villa and sneaked inside. He was shocked to discover that Mr. X was actually the FBI director who kept trying to recruit him. He asked why she turned to crime, and she said it was for money. She then offered him a place in her operation, but he refused, saying he was there to arrest her. Suddenly, a gun was pointed at Cash from the side. The gunman turned out to be Rocco, who had been in on the conspiracy the entire time. Rocco, with an apology, confessed his involvement with the director and his intention to kill Cash. Just as it seemed Cash's luck had run out, the tables turned one final time. It was revealed that Cash had not arrived alone. He had set a trap before, calling a team of FBI agents and journalists to storm in and arrest both Rocco and the director. They were later sentenced to life in prison. Days later, after all the incidents had met their end, Cash was finally enjoying a peaceful vacation with his two daughters. He was later contacted by Jamie, who was coming to join them, revealing that the young woman and Cash had developed unexpected feelings for each other during their shared ordeal.